Hola clase, it is Monday, March 23rd, 2020, week 2 of remote learning. You are doing an amazing job. I am very, very proud of how hard you're working to get your things in on time. This week, it is going to be very important that you do the tasks that I'm giving you on a daily basis so that you are not stuck trying to write an entire chapter in Spanish on Sunday night of next week. So make sure that you are submitting every day. Do the little bits as we go. That'll make more sense once I get into explaining this assignment. So, hola, bienvenidos. Hoy es lunes, el 23 de marzo 2020, and we are ready to start another week of remote learning. And then we get some time off, right? A couple things I want to touch base on real quick. Number one, your novela notebook for Los Piratas is still due since we are not returning to school now till May 4th. That is not going to be due until May 8th. That is in your calendar already, moved to May 8th due date with all of the guidelines. Hopefully you stayed up on that this last week. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of work to get done, and I will not take that late. So if you have questions about the novela notebook, make sure you send me those because that is going to still be due. The other thing, we are going to hold a Zoom video chat session or a Zoom meeting today at 10:30. I sent an invitation out through Canvas inbox to that on Friday, and I know a couple people got it because they sent me messages saying, "Oh my gosh, 10:30, I'm not even up at that time." Try to be up because I'd like to have as many people there as I can. We can habla en español un poco. Señorita Blanca will be there. And also I can take questions about your novela notebook and the assignment you have coming up for this week because it is a whole week long assignment just broken into chunks. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in and look at that assignment. So I'm here in student view. I'm going to go to calendar. Then I'm going to go to the 23rd. Remember, you always want to do the top one first, the remote e-learning, and then the date is where you're going to find your lesson and your resources for the day. So today, you're actually going to have a new message up here about attendance. Remember that your assignments for Monday and Tuesday are going to be due by Wednesday the 25th, or you will get locked out of those and receive zeros. If you submit after today, the 23rd, that assignment's going to show late, but you can still turn that in until the 25th. I would still suggest doing your assignments and submitting the parts each day. That way you can stay on top of it. All right, so the video you're watching right now would be embedded here. We're going to scroll down. So today your lesson is just a recap of Capítulo 11. You were to finish Once and the entire book on Friday. I hope you enjoyed the way it ended. I don't think there were any real big surprises. Maybe a little bit shocking that Raquel chose to stay with Henry and not go with Antonio, but Antonio was turning out to be kind of a jerk, and Henry was turning out to be a little bit of a better guy. And then another little surprise, Felipe decided to join Henry and be a pirate as well. So kind of an interesting ending. So there is that recap if you need to watch that and add anything to your notebook for that. Then your assignment. Now, please do not freak out when we go and look at this. I do want to point out real quick, here is a link to your novela notebook and what's required for that. And remember, that's going to be due on May 8th. That's for Los Piratas. But what you're going to do this entire week is you're going to work on Escribe tu propio final. Escribe means write. Tu is your propio final, your own finale. You're going to write your own ending to the book. So you're going to rewrite Capítulo 11, but in your own words. Now, this has been broken down into parts, so I don't expect you to do the whole thing today. Let's go ahead and look at that. I'm going to have to leave student view. Well, if it even decides to come up, here we go. Because it is locked out to you until 7 a.m. on Monday. So let's go here. All right, so this is what you're going to see. Read this. Señorita Blanca worked very hard on coming up with this project, and so make sure you read through that. So for the assignment, the overall end idea is that you are going to be rewriting Capítulo 11 in Espanol, and you're going to work on that throughout the entire week. The chapter will be between 350 and 500 words, so you're looking for about 10 to 12 paragraphs. I'd like that typed in 12-point font and double spaced. You need to include the top of your final submission, so that's the one you're going to give on Friday, your name in La Clase de Español, and then the date and a creative title for the chapter. Okay, you also need to include a word count at the end of your paper. And when you scroll through, you're going to see this is a long post for the assignment. I'm going to have this on every day's assignment, but you are only doing what is required for that day. If you want to work ahead, you can, but you have to submit something every day so that I'm able to count you as attended. So below, you're going to find these following items: the daily agenda, as well as the submission that is due each day. You will receive points for your daily submissions as well as an overall grade for the project. So your daily submissions are 25 points. The overall paper chapter that you're writing is 115 points. So you're getting 25 points times 5 plus 115 points for your final paper. So it's a lot of points. Make sure you're staying on top of it. You're also going to find a list of helpful verbs to know and use in your chapter. You can feel free to add more, obviously. You're going to find an example plan that is applicable to Monday's submission, and then an example of a completed paper. Senorita Blanca worked really hard to put this all together for you. The rubric which will be used to grade your project is attached, and so we'll go back and look at that at the very end. Be sure you read over it and assess your piece before or you assess your piece using that rubric before you submit your final piece. Okay. Feel free to use Spanish dictionary to look up words, but don't type sentences in. I'm going to know if those are not your sentences that you have created. So make sure that you are doing your best work. I would rather have a paper or a piece of the chapter that I know you wrote in your own words with some grammar errors that would be fine for first year students than a paper that you typed into Google Translate or Spanish dictionary, copy and pasted in as your own work. If you do that, you're going to get a 0. So you do not want to take that route. All right, so here's the daily agenda for the writing project. Okay, please note you must submit what is required for each day on that day in Canvas. So for lunes today, this is all I'm expecting you to do. Now, if you have some extra time and you want to work ahead on other days, that's fine, but don't submit those pieces until they are actually due, because you're going to see an assignment submission for each of these. Okay, so for lunes, 3, 23/2020, so March 23rd, review Capítulo 10 to remember where it ended, study vocab from past units to refresh yourself on the words you know, and review the verbs below, and those are way at the bottom. Write out your plan in English, but as you write, try to incorporate verbs or nouns that you already know in Spanish. This will save you a ton of time. Also remember that the more thorough your plan is, the easier it will be when you start writing in Spanish. And so you're going to submit this plan to Canvas. So let's go ahead and scroll down. And here is an example plan that Senorita Blanca put together for you. So these are the directions. It says write a plan for your very own Capítulo 11. The plan can be in English or in Spanish. Your plan will be split into 3 sections: beginning, middle, end. Have 3 to 5 plot points for the beginning and end, and 6 to 10 plot points for the middle section. When constructing your plans below, or constructing your plans, follow the sample format below. So here is the plan. A beginning: Henry yells for Raquel and Antonio to stop. Okay, you can read through this on your own. So this is just the idea of what you would have for Monday's submission. Okay, so a beginning part, a middle part, and an end part with 3 to 5 plot points, 6 to 10 plot points, and 3 to 5 plot points. This can be all in English, but eventually you will be translating that in your final to Spanish. So if you want to do that in this step, you can go ahead and do that as well. That's fine. Okay, so that's just for Monday. All right. I will go through, I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up here so you can see the other things. So like on Tuesday, you're writing a rough draft of the first 3 paragraphs. Submit your paragraphs in word count, should be around 100 or so to Canvas. You may want to start doing that in Spanish. That's up to you. Then on Wednesday, you're going to write a rough draft. You can see how it progresses. And then finally, Friday is when I'm going to get your final piece that you would submit to Canvas. And so you've got until Friday to get that work through. So do not fall behind on this. Stay on top of it. Follow this format. It's a good plan. And if you follow this, you should not have a problem being able to get this done. You can do this. Don't go the route of, oh, I can't write in Spanish. I don't know Spanish. This is too hard. You can do it. And I know you can. Remember, you can always send me messages if you need some help or need some guidance. So that's the plan. Here are some of the useful or helpful verbs that Senorita Blanca pulled out and gave to you. Obviously, these are not the only verbs you could use, but it's a great list and ones that you saw often throughout the book. And then she gives you some advice on conjugating. Make sure your verbs go with the subject. So if it's like yo and your verb is buscar, it's going to be yo busco. Tú buscas, él busca or ella busca, nosotros buscamos, ellos buscan. Okay, so make sure you're conjugating correctly. Know what your subject is for your sentence. And then we already looked at that example plan for Monday. Here is an example of a final submission. Now, number one, this is all Senorita Blanca's work, so this should not become your work. This is all her work. You can see that she has put it into with the specified guidelines. She has the total number or the total word count at the bottom. Make sure you're including that. She has her name in La Clase de Español. She has her date. She has her title. And then she has her entire capítulo 11 that she wrote. And she called it Agua de Vida o Raquel. Muy misterioso. So it's very well written. Remember, though, those are her words. One thing I want to point out down here, it says the points is 25. Please understand that is only for this submission, Every daily submission is going to be 25 points. Then I will grade the overall piece that you write, and that is going to be done using this rubric, and that's worth 115 points. So you're going to get 5 grades of 25 points just for your submissions Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then you're going to get an additional grade of 115 points for the actual chapter that I assess and grade after you have submitted that. All right. I know that is a ton of information to take in. Please, please, please stay on top of this. Please ask me if you need help. But my most important piece of advice to you is this: do not type things into Google Translate or into Spanish dictionary and just copy and paste them in to make them your pieces. You can write these sentences in Spanish. I suggest writing them in English first and then translating them to Spanish, but I know you can do this. And if you follow this amazing plan and do the steps when you're supposed to, you will not have a problem getting this done on time. All right, that's what you're working on for this week, students. Please let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully, you were able to attend our Zoom meeting that took place on Monday at 10:30. If not, I am planning on scheduling another one later in the week, and I will send out a message to let you know about that. Keep working hard and let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Adios, mis estudiantes.